couch conversations, I guess, are going to be the place where we bring the latest and greatest.
Dun, 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 dun. So here's our latest plot twist.
Oh, my word.
We said we were settling into home.
Well, let me clarify. I know I'm cutting you off way too soon. But we said 99.9% sure. Just wanted to clarify that.
I think you said that.
I'll clip the footage for that. This will all make sense today, but now this stuff is headed out into a home office. We're going to give a family update today. We're not 100% set in stone with things, but I think we're far enough along to give an update as to what is going on with our journey of trying to find home. So stay tuned, but right now we're going to set up a home office.
Okay. So the last couch conversation we had is we were selling everything in the place that we had been living, which was the Shenandoah Valley. And we had moved our family, which includes my parents, and my mom was stepping into a full-time caregiver role for her dad. And we were moving down by family and purchasing my grandfather's land and house. And we were going to homestead finally. Like, homesteading has been this elusive dream of ours for probably, I don't know, 5 years, I guess. And that we've just, like, we want to raise our food. We want to raise animals. We want to be self-sufficient. It's just never come to fruition. It's just not been the right season.
Yeah.
We've tried to plant in places. It literally has ended up being a nightmare. And when you just try and do something on your own accord, out of season, out of time, it's just not right. And so that's what it's been for us. And so, you know, Darren's had a really good perspective. This is kind of a trail, but he's had a really good perspective of this. Like, a lot of the homesteaders we do know, they sell their food, they sell their vegetables, they sell their meat, they sell their raw milk. And that's their business that helps support their family and their homestead. So, you know, that has kind of given us some patience and perspective with like the homesteading. So when we moved here, as in the past, we probably would have like already ordered chickens and bought a dog and, you know, like tried to buy for me other livestock or something.
Yeah.
But, you know, both of us felt a severe hesitation in our spirit, and just so we've been enjoying the winter rest, as you've seen in some videos. I mean, we're really trying to declutter, minimize. We're trying to get settled in this house. There's just been a lot. So because of Darren's perspective with like we support these families. And we don't have to be homesteaders like right now. It can definitely be something we do in the future. That's just kind of been like, okay, good. Let's just kind of settle in here. And then we have some families. Yes, we have to drive like an hour plus to support them, but at least we have some people locally that we could do that. So I'm saying all that to say, you know, we haven't really done anything on getting into like that next phase of settling here, because we've not even settled like our stuff. But that was kind of the goal and the dream of being here and just kind of putting roots down. I'm kind of giving you this,
plant a garden, homestead, have some animals.
yeah, kind of giving like this big picture of
blah 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 blah.
That's all the things we tried to get the ponies, and the ponies completely, or the baby's up.
Tweety.
Okay, so that's kind of like the big thing, the big picture. So, but even still, all that said, I'm leading up to all this for a purpose. We ended up having a conversation with my aunt, and she kind of just, to get straight to the punchline, we had submitted the contract on the property here back in June. I mean, so this was a long time. Then there were some things they kind of wanted changed. We were fine with that, so we changed some things and submitted the contract in November. Well, we still haven't heard anything, and we asked a couple times, And so finally she had this conversation with us that, you know, she really didn't want to, basically, like, my grandfather is 95 and he came from nothing and basically lived like in a shack while farming after the Great Depression. And
she saw it, and so I was trying to get her not to.
And so he built the house, he bought the land and built the house and built the place that we're in. And so, like, there is a lot of sense of ownership and pride with that.
Yeah.
And so she kind of said, like, basically, we're glad you guys are here, and we're so glad that the land and the house will go to, like, family, but, you know, we really don't want to sell it until, you know, like, later. Really just kind of respecting his ownership of it for the rest of his life. And, you know, I had kind of actually mentioned that a couple months ago. That's kind of what I sensed, that I understand that's how the older generation works. They're very much like an inheritance is something you pass on when you pass on, and which is fine. We totally understand that. But when all that happened, the more we have talked about it since then, this was, I think, last week, we don't really want to do anything here then. You know, we don't want to plant, or we would have to obviously go through channels of, like, communication if we wanted to change anything about the house or build anything, or we really don't want to be in that situation. At this point, we have made decisions in the past to invest in properties that were not ours yet, thinking that they were going to be ours.
Totally.
And we've looked back and
Wow.
we have wasted a lot of money that way, and a lot of time and a lot of effort, and we've just chosen not to do that anymore. So here's our plot twist. We really felt like we were kind of settling in here, and now we honestly don't feel like we're really settling in here. It's kind of interesting. You know, but for us, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
We're okay with that.
Anyway, so yeah, I was just telling Monica. Sweet. I was just telling Monica, you know, I was back there folding the clothes, and it's basically saying, like, I understand, you know, I'm so beyond the type of house it has to be, how big, how small, what type, you know, farmhouse, industrial, commercial building, I don't care, just whatever. Like, it's beyond the structure, tons of acres, no acres, you know, like, whatever it is, you know, I'm just in a place where the only thing that really excites me, not the only thing that excites me, it's not like I'm depressed other than this.
You can clip this.
No, the only thing that, the thing that excites me the most is what I should say. I'm excited about a lot of things, but the thing that excites me the most is just the idea of creating a home with you and with our family. And we just not have been in a place where we could do that, just by nature of how many times we've moved. And, you know, we've tried to make places home and then we get uprooted from them. And so, you know, I'm just like, whether it's here, there, wherever, and whatever the house is, you know, I don't know. I'm just like ready for that adventure of finding home, creating home, whatever. So it's crazy, you know. We thought this was it, and it still could be it, or it could not be it. That's the whole point. We don't know. This is the part of the journey, again, where we just have to exercise an extreme amount of faith to know that God was ahead of this thing. So we're not, like, you know, distraught and worried and, like, you know, thinking, what are we going to do now? Like, we can still operate under, you know, the unknown. That's the essence of faith. You know? But with that said, there is this expectancy, there is this hope, kind of like the season that we're in. Like, there was this expectancy of a Savior. And so, you know, you had to still operate for so long before the Savior showed up on the scene. And so that's us. That's what we're doing. That's our family. You know, we're still living day to day, but knowing, like, there's something. And we're literally, like, I feel like we're following a star. You know, we're like trying to find this place. They were trying to find this baby. We're trying to find this place called home. And we're literally following this elusive light that we can just feel ourselves getting closer and closer and closer to it. And so that's the journey, and that's it. And so if you see a moving truck show up, that's why.
I said I'm not moving another thing. I will.
That's it. You won't see a moving truck show up. Actually,
no, I will sell it all. I will bless Goodwill.
Point is,
I will bless somebody.
If you see our scenery change, we'll refer to this video, but maybe the scenery to stay the same. I don't know, but we just wanted to give the plot twist because wow, we thought we were.
And that's kind of the thing going back with the homesteading and stuff. It's just. It's like we're just in a season of transition period in our family. Somebody asked the other day, I just found you guys. Like, what do you guys do? And I mean, Darren kind of answered that with the response in the comment, but it's like, in our past lives, like I have a master's in nursing. I've worked in a hospital, and Darren's been in real estate. And then we've been in full-time ministry for the last
10 years.
Yeah.
Well, full-time, I guess, when you said full-time, so probably like 6 or 7.
Yeah. So, and then we've run our own nonprofit organization for the last 4 years, I guess, 4 or 5 years. And so that season is coming to a close, and we are selling all of our properties. We're selling all of our stuff. We're moving, and so we're just in a great season of transition. I used that word yesterday. It's just, we're in a huge reset. Like we are starting over, like Darren said, we really are just starting our life over, and we're starting our life over thinking we were going to homestead, which would, evolve into some, of course, sort of like, along with the vlogging, just some sort of business type, I don't know, thread in it. But that's also kind of some of this twist is that if we're not doing that here, what are we doing here? Like it, so it's all, this all is kind of wrapped up into, and then on top of that, we are still, I didn't know she had that. I thought she had my zipper.
Just gonna move it for you.
On top of that, we are still just living daily life with 6 children that are, it's just like, so that is like what we do is we are raising our family, during every day, as well as just kind of wondering like what's the next step and what are we doing. And we are kind of like my grandfather at 95. Darren and I really the other night were talking, we kind of feel like we're just at this impasse. Like, what legacy are we creating for our children? What land are we leaving as a legacy, as an inheritance, as a, and it's, for us, it's not just picking up a map and just like plopping our finger down. We really need to feel led or called to an area. We have to know that we are supposed to be where we're at. And so, for us, I think it's really hard for a generation to turn and look at their children instead of constantly looking back at their parents or their grandparents or their lineage, where they're coming from. And I can appreciate that we've come back here to family land, to my family land, but there is something inside of me that kind of says, like, Darren and I have become one. We have a family. And there's a lot of things that we have fought hard to change that, we want to leave for our children. So, the question kind of is like, where is that?
So there you go. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for this to unfold. As it unfolds before our eyes, it unfolds before yours. The next 24 hours.
And in the meantime, we're trying to get into the Christmas spirit.
Merry Christmas, everyone.